This is AWS On Air, and today we're going to be talking about CloudTrail Lake dashboards. So in order to do that, let's introduce these amazing gentlemen that we've got here from the CloudTrail Lake team. So Levi, tell everyone what is it you do at AWS?
Hey, so my name is Levi Bracken. I'm a senior manager software development for the AWS CloudTrail team. I really focus on the user-facing aspects of CloudTrail, so consoles, the APIs we're putting out, things like that.
Awesome. And Gokul?
Hey team, I'm Gokul Nair. I'm from CloudTrail product management team. I'm a senior product manager responsible for the CloudTrail portfolio. Excited to be here today.
I am too. I mean, CloudTrail Lake, it's probably a lot of people aren't familiar with what CloudTrail Lake even is. So Gokul, how would you explain what CloudTrail Lake is to someone?
Very good question. So today, as pretty much everyone here knows, right? CloudTrail is the authoritative audit log for all your activities happening in AWS. And one of the very common solutions from CloudTrail that our customers is using is Trails. So with Trails, as a customer, you can specify an S3 bucket of yours where CloudTrail will deliver every API call, user activities as logs. And you can leverage that for use cases such as auditing, security investigations, and operational troubleshooting. Now comes the important question as to what is CloudTrail Lake and how is it alongside Trails? And why did we create CloudTrail Lake and what customer problems it is solving for you? So with Trails, we today provide a rich set of integration capabilities. It integrates with pretty much every data analysis, security management, observability solutions available in the market. And Trails also provide you with a log validation capability, which is a cryptographical way to verify if anyone has tampered with your precious audit logs. So despite that, we do have a lot of our customers asking for a few so to say, enhancements. One is a sizable segment is asking for an easy button experience. How can I get analytical insights from my CloudTrail data without the need to build any downstream workflows? Just a magical easy button. The second ask has been yes, I love the log validation capability, which will allow me to detect if anyone tampered with my logs. Can you provide a more preventative capability where you can ensure nobody can meddle with your logs at all, like a complete immutability as a built-in integrated feature? And the third ask has been, yes, CloudTrail kind of captures most of the auditable information for me, but I do want to see a bit more context. I do have additional auditable data sources. Can I consolidate them alongside CloudTrail and cross-analyze them, right? So in order to address these asks is what we created CloudTrail Lake, and we launched it in January of 2022. What is it? It's a managed audit and security lake that allows you to aggregate all of your auditable data sources and immutably store this data for up to 7 years. And users are getting read-only access to it, so nobody can basically meddle with it. And more importantly, it provides you with a built-in SQL query engine through which you can directly get insights on your CloudTrail data without the need to build any downstream workflows.
Well, you had me at easy button, so I definitely want to see it. I'm sure a lot of people do. So let's see a demo of it.
Absolutely. So when you create CloudTrail Lake, the first step to do is to create an event data store. So event data store is the place where you will specify that, okay, CloudTrail collect all of my auditable data sources at this location. And once you collect your data, auditable data in the event data store, you can run SQL queries from the built-in SQL engine of CloudTrail Lake. And in terms of the data sources, as I mentioned earlier, CloudTrail is not the only data source which is supported in CloudTrail Lake. You can additionally get additional auditable data sources like, for example, resource configuration and compliance history from AWS config, or audit manager evidence from AWS Audit Manager, or even auditable activity events from your custom applications or third-party SaaS applications as well. You can also copy your existing CloudTrail logs in your S3 bucket into CloudTrail Lake for consolidation of all your audit logs in one place for easy troubleshooting or easy investigation use cases as well. So let's see how you create an event data store and what are the steps you need to go through. So let me name the event data store on our demo. And the next step is for you to pick what is the data retention period. By default, Lake comes with a 7-year retention period included at no additional charges. However, you can pick the retention period based on your compliance requirements or your use case requirements. For the data to be encrypted, by default, CloudTrail Lake uses an AWS managed key, but you will also have the option to choose your own custom managed key as well, based on your compliance needs. So the next step is basically to choose what auditable data sources you want to collect in CloudTrail Lake. So by default, with AWS events, you can choose CloudTrail events as well as the configuration items from AWS config, or you could also choose auditable events from third-party sources or your custom applications as well. So for the sake of this demo, I'm choosing AWS events and management events specifically, and I have enabled the read and write management events APIs, which are typically used heavily by our customers for alerts, real-time alerts, and monitoring, auditing, etc. Now you are reviewing everything and create event data store. That's it. So now your the steps to create an event data store is complete. And since data accumulation takes time, I will possibly run the queries on an older event data store that I created. As you can see, there is a lake that I created during reinvent time last time. So I will go through that. So now let's go to how you run queries in CloudTrail Lake. So in order to make it very easy for you to run queries in Lake, we provide a list of sample queries. So sample queries are a great starting point for you to build your queries. So for example, I want to investigate who called a specific API during a specific time range. You click on the sample query, and the query is getting displayed on your Lake query editor. You can edit it as you want. So for example, in this query, I'm trying to identify which are the users who called an API, which is a create bucket. So basically who created buckets, S3 buckets within a specific time range. Let me pick 2022. October 30th, 2022 to May 31st, 2023. I want to see who created it. Now I run the query. The query is running, and I have no results. Okay, did I make any? Oh, okay, that's why I chose the wrong event data store. It is the event data store that we just created. It hasn't got the data yet. So let me pick the reinvent Lake demo, which was something which I created quite some time back. Now you run. So now you see there are 14 records matched, and it scans 649 MB in 3.6 seconds. And the query results are here. So now you know exactly which are the users that created an S3 bucket during the specific time. And probably this is something you might need for your investigation purposes.
This is great. I love how you just really showed how simple it is. And I hear there's an exciting launch announcement today within CloudTrail Lake dashboard. So tell us about, what are you launching today?
Exactly. So today we are taking the easy button approach of CloudTrail Lake to the next step, where we are going to be launching the CloudTrail Lake dashboards. So with CloudTrail Lake dashboards, you can basically get out of the box visibility into top trends and top errors from your CloudTrail data without the need to build any downstream workflows. So you could be a compliance engineer who is looking at creating, or who is trying to track the progress of compliance mandates like migration to TLS version 102 and beyond. Or you could be a security engineer trying to investigate sensitive user activities like deletion of a security group. Or you could be a cloud operations engineer or application engineer who is trying to troubleshoot service reliability issues like access denied errors or throttling exceptions. Now, CloudTrail Lake dashboards can act as a starting point for you, where it will surface these top trends and top errors on your console. And from there, you can drill down with the Lake queries to get further insights. I would pass it on to Levi to walk you through a quick demo of the dashboards. I'm pretty sure that would be top of mind.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Yeah, so excited to show it. So as Gokul said, when we started building dashboards, what we really wanted to do was have an easy button, but create something that would give customers more visibility into their CloudTrail data and directly from within the AWS console. And so our solution to that is dashboards. Okay. So dashboards builds upon the CloudTrail Lake platform. And so now Lake customers of all sizes can not only query for, as they could before, but also see trends, see anomalies, and gain insights into the potentially billions of CloudTrail events that they may have recorded about their account activity. So let's take a closer look. So dashboards is enabled automatically once you have created an event data store, which Gokul showed. And so this lets you view what's in that event data store. And so first you would select which event data store you'd like to take a look at. And then you'd pick from one of the curated dashboards that we've provided. And these are things we'll keep adding to as we get more feedback, as we see different new use cases that customers are really using for CloudTrail data. But what we wanted to do was ship a number out of the box. So there's no setup. You can just get started as soon as you have events in your event data store. And so for overview, what we have is, as the name implies, kind of a high level overview, the big picture of what you're storing in your EDS. So we have account activity over time. We can see we have a little bit of a spike here of read events that occurred. That might be something we'd want to look into and see more. We can see what the top errors that are occurring across all AWS services. So as CloudTrail is recording these events, we're seeing, are they successful? Are they errors? What are the errors, et cetera. Lots of other information about how you're using your account, what regions are active. Hopefully there are no surprises there, but you can see where your workloads are running. Is that what you would expect? Is one region maybe more active than you anticipated? What services you're using? Who your top users are? And then one we get asked a lot, what are my most throttled events? So this is something a lot of customers use to be able to debug their applications if they're being throttled on particular calls, understand who, where, why, and when this is happening. And so from dashboards, what we want to do is highlight this information so it's visual, you can see it, you get the big picture idea. But if something piques your interest, you can drill in and do further investigation and analysis using the already powerful query editor interface. And so if we want to learn more about these throttled events, we can simply click View and Analyze in Query Editor, and we jump contextually right into the query editor where we see what query was powering that dashboard. And then for a lot of these queries, we provide hints too, in terms of comments that you can edit if you want to maybe scope it by a particular event, scope it by a user, scope it by an account, things like that. And so you can modify this query, run it, whatever you need to do to investigate what you're trying to solve. And when you're done, you can just go right back to the dashboard and pick up where you left off. So the overview dashboard is first. I also want to highlight a couple others. If you've enabled S3 data events in your event data store, we provide a dashboard specific for that. So you can understand better your S3 account activity. So how many reads and writes are you seeing over time, who your top users are, what hot objects or hot most accessed objects are, and then also what your access patterns look like. For a lot of applications, they have a profile where they're doing plenty of reads, but maybe infrequent writes or vice versa. So does that match your expectation? Has that changed over time? This gives you visibility and again, the ability to drill down to learn more. One other dashboard is our management events dashboard. And as the name implies, this is focused on kind of the default data that CloudTrail typically collects your management events. So very helpful for security focused customers, for operational troubleshooting, those types of workflows. So here we can see where you're getting access denied, what are the top errors different users are running into, information about console sign-in, destructive actions. And then as Gokul talked about before, listening to our customers, this dashboard here, or these widgets for TLS version, is important for a lot of customers that are on some type of migration for compliance to make sure that they're using only modern TLS versions. And so you'd want to be using a 1.2, a 1.3. And so you can take a look, and in your CloudTrail data, have you seen any requests using an outdated version of TLS? In this case, we kind of have a low line repeated set of requests using TLS version v1. We can take a look, we could query further, see who the user is, and that would let us then take some action to troubleshoot, get this upgraded to a more modern version so that we'll be safe from that perspective. And if we take a look at destructive actions, again, if you see something here that piques your interest, you simply drill in to your query editor and then run it as you need. In this case, maybe let's see who has been running those destructive actions. And you can just modify your query as you need. Click run, and then take a look at the query output. Do whatever investigation you need to do to get the information you need to understand who's maybe deleting alarms, deleting roles, terminating EC2 instances, things like that. Basically, all this data is in CloudTrail. With Lake, you can query and unlock it. And with dashboards, we really want to surface that information so that you can see it and know what to drill into. These could be queries maybe you even didn't think to run before, or something that, hey, this looks interesting, I want to know more, let me dive deep.
I love how you just explained this and visually showed it, because I think everyone here who's listening probably has at least one use case where they can be able to use CloudTrail Lake and specifically CloudTrail Lake dashboards. And so with that, I've got a question that I know is probably on everyone's mind who's watching here, especially the people who are very experienced with AWS and are using multiple AWS accounts with AWS organizations. So if you're someone that has multiple accounts, and when you use CloudTrail Lake dashboards, do these dashboards present data across an entire organization, or is it only per account?
Mm-hmm. So the dashboards that you see are going to show the data that's contained in the EDS, the event data store. And so that event data store could be for one specific account, or it could be what we call an organizational event data store, capturing the events from all of the different accounts within your organization. And so if you have that, you're going to see all of that information aggregated so that you get it in just one-stop shop, all in one place that you can take a look at once.
Perfect. And that's same with permissions too?
Yeah, so since this is built on top of the Lake platform and uses query to be able to power these dashboards, if you as a user have access to run queries, you're going to be able to view the dashboards as well. So in an organization, that event data store typically lives in your management account or a delegated admin account that can access it. So any of those users that could previously run queries would be able to view and use dashboards as well.
That's really exciting. I know all of our pricing is publicly available, but I know it's a common question that customers ask us is really just want to understand how the pricing works. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so for Lake, we have two pricing dimensions. One is ingestion charges. So you are basically charged for data that is ingested into the Lake. And as I mentioned earlier, up to 7 years of data retention comes included at no additional charges with your ingestion. The second dimension from a pricing perspective is the query. So the scanned bytes as part of the query. So effectively, you have per GB charges for both ingestion as well as for the scanned bytes.
Exciting. Well, I know a lot of people are probably really excited to start being able to use this. So where can people go to start being able to learn more about CloudTrail Lake dashboards and be able to get started?
Yeah, so CloudTrail Dashboards has just launched Lake Dashboards. And so there's a What's New blog post and also a Getting Started blog post that customers can check out. Walks through all the steps of how you would create an event data store and some different workflows that you can use to analyze your data using dashboards themselves. And for customers too that maybe haven't already set up a CloudTrail Lake, but have some data in Trails that they'd like to be able to investigate and visualize, they can always import that into Lake. So you might have days, weeks, months, years of trail data. All of that can be imported into Lake and then analyzed using Lake dashboards, using all the queries, everything you see today.
That's a great call out. Well, I'm excited. I'm sure a lot of people want to get started using it. Levi, Gokul, thank you so much for talking about CloudTrail Lake and CloudTrail Lake dashboards. And this is AWS On Air. So stick around. We've got more coming up today.
Great.
Thank you. Thanks, Julian.